What up, everybody? Today's date, December 31st, 2019. One more day until the new year. Soon it will be 2020, a new decade. We're going to be 20 years into the 21st century. A lot of crazy stuff happened this year, 2019, that really got to me. A lot of craziness. Of course, you got all these mass shootings. It was reported that 2019 reached a record high in mass shootings. And there was a lot of mass shootings this year. And it was almost every race was involved. A lot of these mass shootings, almost every race in this country had a mass shooter. There were white mass shooters, black mass shooters. There was a mass shooting in Texas a couple of days ago, Houston, Texas, I believe. There was a mass shooting during the filming of a rap video. The two victims were Hispanic. I'm not sure who the suspects were. They could have been Hispanic for all I know. I'm not sure. And last month in Fresno, California, there were Asian mass shooters. It was gang related. Asian gangs were involved in that shooting in California, Fresno, California. So every race, or almost every race, had a mass shooter except for Native Americans. If there was a Native American shooter, I was not aware of that. And I posted some videos talking about some of these mass shootings earlier this year. You can check out those videos on my channel. Specifically the video that says Life Too Short. I have a series of videos talking about mass shooters as well as other things. Another thing that really got to me this year is so many children were murdered or kidnapped then murdered. Now, one good thing that happened earlier this year, January, a 13-year-old girl named Jamie Kloss, I think she was 13 years old. She is from Wisconsin. She was kidnapped by some savage last year, 2018. He murdered her parents and kidnapped her, but she escaped from captivity earlier this year, which was great. I mean, it's sad that she lost her parents. Well, she didn't lose them. They were taken away from her from this savage, but she got away, which was great. According to news reports, her family says she's doing better, and the savage who kidnapped her and murdered her parents, he's locked up. But unfortunately, other children were not so lucky. There's the murder of 4-year-old Malia Davis in Texas. She was murdered by a savage, only 4 years old. That happened in Texas. And then not that long ago in Alabama, a 3-year-old girl named Camille McKinney, she was kidnapped and murdered by two savages in Alabama. And then there's this 5-year-old girl named Dulce Alaves. She was kidnapped in New Jersey. I think this happened during the summertime, maybe June, I think. As of today, I don't think she was ever found. Her name is Dulce Alaves. She was kidnapped in New Jersey. The suspect is described as a Hispanic man. is a suspect. So hopefully she's will be found alive. Somewhere in the news reports, her mother says she believes her daughter is still alive. Let's hope that is the case. And also, there's one story that got me very angry was the brutal beating of an African immigrant girl. Her name is Dorika Uwimana. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. She was brutally beaten by a savage in Fort Worth, Texas last year. But this year, the savage that attacked her, he was sentenced to life in prison. He caused some lifelong damage for her, but his ass is going to prison for life. And I do plan to make a video talking about that case. I'm going to make a video about that when I get around to it. And one other thing that got me mad is this DJ Pope person. This is white so-called hip-hop DJ in Florence, South Carolina, who infected over 600 black females with HIV. And this punk, he admitted that he infected these black females with HIV, hoping they would have sex with black men and infect them. So this punk ass bitch is a white supremacist biological weapon. That should have made national news. That should have made national news. I mean, all this talk about R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, this DJ Pope should have been talked about too in the news nationwide. So, yeah, that really got me angry. Mm. Also, you still got these kids in the inner city still shooting each other all over. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, down south. And yet, punk as George Zimmerman is still alive. Think about that. A lot of children are being murdered. Those of you who have children, you need to control them. Stop letting them run out in the streets. And also protect them. There's a lot going on out there. You got these gangs and kidnappers, human traffickers, murderers, whatever. Protect your children. If you have children, if you don't care enough about your children to protect them, give them to someone who will. Even in St. Louis this past summer, a lot of children were murdered. It's ridiculous. A lot of these children getting killed before they have a chance to have a life. That's insane. Something's got to change. I mean, next year may not be any different than this year. I don't know. But hopefully something would change. But those stories that I mentioned earlier just really got under my skin, especially the children being murdered. No child should have to worry about getting killed. A child should be able to be a child, live life. Protect your children. Stop letting your children run out on the streets. hanging out with the wrong crowd. Be careful with people around your kids. A lot of child molesters and pedophiles, child murderers, all types of craziness. So this year was very hard for children. They should really be protected. So all I can say is it's a very evil world, and you have to do whatever you have to do to protect yourself, protect your family, including your children. Do whatever you have to do. New Year's coming up, make some changes. Strive to be better. We should try to be much better next year than we were this year. And that goes for me too. We all can do better. Do whatever you have to do. Until then, take care.